Ever get that feeling? Like
Yeah.
you're just going through the motions, you know?
Yeah.
Deep down, you crave something more. More joy, more purpose, a life that just feels right. You know what I mean? Like it's really aligned with what you value.
Totally. That sense of integrity, it's huge.
Exactly. And that's what we're diving into today. We're taking inspiration from Martha Beck. She's got this really interesting outlook on finding your path.
Oh, I like her. She's the one who...
Yeah. She actually did this experiment on herself, told 0 lies for a whole year.
Whoa, no kidding. What happened?
It's wild. Her whole life kind of reshuffled, but in a good way, ultimately. We'll get into it.
Okay, so how does this whole finding your path thing work?
All right, so she talks about this thing called the path of not here, and it really clicked for me.
Path of not here.
Yeah. So she tells this story about tracking a porcupine with this expert tracker, Boyd Vardy, in Africa.
Okay.
They're looking for these tiny clues, right?
Right.
A twig out of place, maybe a faint footprint.
Right.
And at some point, you realize, wait, we haven't seen a clear track in a while. You're off course.
Oh, I see. So you're going somewhere, but is it the right somewhere?
Exactly. And she's saying we do this all the time in our own lives. Careers, relationships, you name it. We end up on these paths that just lack that spark.
You're moving, but it's not a, heck yeah, I'm doing this kind of move.
Exactly. And often, our bodies know it before we do.
What do you mean?
Beck says our bodies are these incredibly wise guides. Think about it. When you're truly joyful, how does your body feel?
Lighter. Yeah?
Right. Energized, open. But when something's off, you feel it. Too, tension, fatigue.
Ugh, yeah, that blah.
Yeah.
feeling.
And we can get so caught up in our heads, we miss those signals. She tells this funny story about this tracker, Boyd Vardy, who was struggling to reconnect with his own joy.
What does she do?
She prescribes him 3 days of lying on her living room floor, watching comedies, and eating ice cream.
Wait, seriously?
Yeah. It's like she recognized he was so used to stress, he'd forgotten what simple pleasure felt like.
Wow. Okay, I need to think about this. Ice cream and comedies for joy.
Right. Sometimes we just need to remind our bodies what it feels like to truly relax and experience joy. And that often leads us back to that path, the one that feels right.
So how do we figure that out? What's step one?
This whole integrity cleanse thing, it's pretty intense, right?
Yeah.
Telling 0 lies, even the little ones, for a whole year. It's a lot.
Yeah, it's a big commitment. And for Beck, it wasn't just a random challenge. She was going through some stuff,
Yeah, she talks about being sick, feeling unfulfilled, like her life just wasn't lining up with who she felt she really was.
Right, like there was this disconnect. So this cleanse, it was kind of a way to hit the reset button.
And man, did it ever. She lost friends, family, even her job and her marriage.
Wow. Talk about a life upheaval. But she says through all that, there was also this incredible feeling of freedom.
It's like by letting go of those little lies, those ways we pretend to be someone we're not, she actually found herself. It makes you think, doesn't it? Like, what if the things we try so hard to hide, those imperfections, those messy truths, what if those are actually the keys to finding real joy?
Interesting. But a year of no lying, that's
Yeah.
pretty hardcore.
Totally. Like, what do you say when your friend asks if you like their new bold fashion choice?
Right. But Beck talks about starting small, like a white belt level of honesty, just noticing those moments when you're not being totally truthful.
So more about awareness than judgment, right?
Exactly. And if you're ready for the next level, there's the blue belt level.
Yeah.
Confiding in someone you trust, like a friend or therapist, and telling them the whole truth, no filter, for a month.
Oh, wow. That's brave.
It's about practicing vulnerability in a safe space.
Makes sense. Speaking of honesty, let's talk about saying no. That's a tough one.
Yeah, setting boundaries can be hard. We want to please people, right?
Totally.
Yeah.
But Beck has this great quote from Shakespeare, no less. Go tell the council Caesar will not come. Something like that.
I think there's that I cannot is false. That I dare not false are still in there somewhere.
Yes, that's it. But her point is, sometimes a simple no is the most honest answer.
It can feel kind of blunt, but it's clear and respectful. No need to over-explain.
And think of all the time and energy you save by saying no to things you don't really want to do.
Right. You free up space for stuff that actually matters to you.
She also suggests this cool little mind trick. Instead of saying, I can't, say, I choose not to.
Ooh, I like that. It's subtle, but powerful.
Right. Like, imagine you'd rather have a quiet night in than go to that networking event. Instead of, oh, I can't, I have so much work.
Yeah.
It's, tonight I'm choosing to recharge.
Yes, you're taking ownership of your time and energy. Okay, so we've talked about honesty, boundaries. What about anxiety? It always seems to be lurking.
Right. We usually think of calm as the opposite of anxiety, but Beck throws out this curveball. What if it's actually creativity?
Whoa, creativity. That's
Yeah.
not what I was expecting.
I know, right? But it's kind of brilliant. So she talks about brain hemispheres, right?
Okay, like left brain, right brain.
Yep. The left brain is all about logic, planning, analyzing.
Yeah.
Super important stuff. But
When it gets stuck on overdrive, that's when the anxiety kicks in.
exactly. Overthinking, worrying, always scanning for what could go wrong.
And that's where the right brain swoops in to save the day.
Exactly. The right brain is all about creativity, intuition, openness, that feeling of possibility.
So if the left brain is, what if this goes wrong, and this, and this, the right brain is more like, what if I try this or this? Ooh, and what about this?
Exactly. And Beck has this awesome exercise for tapping into that right brain energy. Want to give it a try?
Yeah, why not? I'm up for anything that combats anxiety.
Okay, so first things first, get comfy. Close your eyes if you want. Just find a nice, relaxed position.
Okay, got it. What's next?
Now, I want you to think about 3 things you absolutely love to taste.
Anything.
Anything. Your favorite fruit, that amazing dessert you had once. Just let those flavors fill your senses.
Ooh, I'm getting hungry. Okay, I've got my 3 tastes.
Perfect. Now hold on to those tastes and add 3 things you love to hear. Rain on the roof, music, your dog barking. Whatever brings you that sense of peace or joy.
This is already so relaxing.
It's amazing how powerful our senses are, right?
Yeah,
All right, now 3 things you love to feel.
like physically feel.
Yep. A soft blanket, a warm hug, the sun on your skin, anything that feels good.
Okay, this is wild. I feel like I'm on a mini vacation from my own brain.
Right. It's like all that mental chatter just quiets down.
Exactly. Okay, what's next? More senses.
You got it. Now, 3 things you love to smell. Freshly cut grass, your favorite candle, maybe even a freshly baked cookie.
Ooh, now I'm really hungry. Okay, smells are in place. What's last?
Last but not least, bring to mind 3 things you love to see. A beautiful sunset, a loved one's face, a starry night sky, anything that fills you with a sense of awe or wonder.
Wow, okay. I'm holding all those sensations at once. It's actually kind of overwhelming in a good way.
That's the power of the right brain at work. We spend so much time in our heads, we forget how good it feels to connect with the world through our senses.
It's like we've got this whole other way of experiencing life that we often neglect. And it feels amazing.
It makes you think about Beck's whole thing about following your joy, right?
Mm.
It's not always about making these huge, life-altering decisions. Although sometimes it is, like when she decided to sell her ranch and move across the country.
Right, talk about a leap of faith.
But it was about listening to that inner voice, trusting her gut, even though it probably sounded crazy to some people.
Because sometimes the things that make the least sense on paper make the most sense for our souls.
Exactly. So, as we wrap up this deep dive, here's something to think about. What if you tried incorporating those sensory moments into your daily life?
Even just for a few minutes, like a little mental reset.
Exactly. See if it helps you tap into that sense of creativity, that joy, that connection, and maybe even guides you toward your own unique path.